break free persona. What is going on with this hashtag? What is going on with this movement? And how can we explain this in order to see the end result, which would be a benefit to all gamers out there? What's up, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about this interesting hashtag, this interesting movement that is going on via Twitter and other social media sites. Well, mainly Twitter at first here, and that is called break free persona. Hashtag break free persona. What does this mean? Can we explain what this is? And will this work? Will this work? Is this just a marketing ploy, a PR stunt? There is so much stuff to get into with this, and I wanted to get my thoughts very focused. I wanted to look into different things. I wanted to make sure that I had everything in line and correct before I talked about this, because this is a very sensitive topic when you talk about certain video games. There are games that affect people's mental state of mind, right? Their solace in life. It pretty much defines who they are or what they do, how they spend their free time, just like how some people are absorbed with Star Wars movies or absorbed with DC or with Marvel, and they kind of base everything around that, whether it comes to business or whether it comes just to pleasure. Whatever the case is, video games, and especially games like Persona, are what give people meaning for some people, right? So it's very important that we talk about something like this, and it's very important to talk about other things surrounding the Break Free Persona campaign. I think that this is the most interesting time period to be for Japanese games and what they do, because there's such a polarizing aspect of the Japanese industry. That is the enigma, right? Or the former enigma of the Nintendo Switch. What is this going to do? We've never seen a hybrid like this that's going to shake up the foundations of Japanese games as we know it when it comes to what people want to play. That's exactly what the Nintendo Switch has done, and has put some traditional game makers like Atlus in a very interesting situation, at least for them, being very slow to kind of convert and move things over. So let's first start with the Break Free Persona campaign. This was started by Fidel. I'm pretty sure it was started by him, where he posted a video after the interview with IGN, where Atlus's US PR communications manager said, hey, well, if you want Persona 5 on the Nintendo Switch, just keep asking us for it. So essentially saying, hey, you must ask and ask and ask for it in order to maybe have a chance at it coming. Now, she has no say or no pull when it comes to what's going to be happening with this game. She said that she's going to be an internal champion for it to be on the Nintendo Switch, but at the end of the day, it is Atlus Japan, it is Sega Japan that pulls the strings, that makes the decisions. But it's good to have, I guess, an internal champion for that. ATLUS USA wants to play Persona 5 on the Nintendo Switch. They want to be able to play it anywhere that they want, which called into question the exclusivity deal that many thought was the case with Persona, which we still don't have anything clear yet. It's still, I would say, wishy-washy, right? There are people who feel that it's there are people who feel that it's expired, there's people who feel that there was never anything in the first place. But what Atlus has said, or at least in terms of what they've done, combined with this interview here, kind of points towards there not being anything anymore at this point, at least, because they do have surveys up saying, would you like to play Persona 5 and other games that were exclusive to PlayStation on the Nintendo Switch? And that PR communications manager, if there was some deal, I think she'd just probably say, well, you know what, it probably can't happen because of what Atlus Japan has done. So the fact that those two things are a thing with what I just stated probably goes to show that there is no deal at this point, or the deal's been expired, or it will expire at some point, or something like that. So let's get into this Break Free Persona campaign. Now, we also had another really cool person that I actually have spoken with myself, and is actually a fan of the channel. I'm a fan of his channel, and that's Roger's Base. He actually made a Break Free Persona video yesterday. That was very well done, by the way. I watched the video and I was moved by his thought process. I was moved by what he said. And I think that his statement in there, in terms of what he had to say, echoes what a lot of people think about the Persona games and how they would like to play the Persona games. Now, before Persona 5 released, the best-selling Persona game was Persona 4. And Persona 4 Golden, I think, was the best-selling individual release for a Persona game. That game did extremely well on a limited install base, because before that, Persona games were only on PlayStation home consoles, right? They were on PlayStation home consoles. Yes, we had the ports of the Persona 3, or we had those on PSP or whatever the case is, but in terms of individual release, native systems they were made for, it was just PlayStation systems, all of them with 100 million units or more, right? Like with the PS1, with Persona 1, Persona 2, then we also had on the PS2, we had Persona 3 and also Persona 4 as well, and none of those reached the individual release sales that we saw with Persona 4 Golden on the PS Vita. And that showed that there is a very big hunger. There is a desire for people to be able to play games portably, because Persona 4 Golden did better than the ones on the systems with a massive install base lead. There is this desire to be able to play Persona anywhere that you want. And you can combine that if it was on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm explaining the reason why this campaign has garnered over 23,000 tweets plus since it started pretty much yesterday. There's a desire for that because people want to be able to get that experience of playing Persona on the go and also at home. The game is long. Persona games take forever to beat. There are so much downtime and talking to people and social links and doing all sorts of stuff outside of combat, going through mementos looking place that looks the same and you're just kind of driving through in the van and everything. It would be very nice, especially with the game like Persona 5 Royale, with all the content that has been added in, it'd be very nice to be able to play it in a little bit different way to where you have the time to play it. Not everybody can be stuck and glued to a TV. And that was one of the things that many people were saying in this campaign, which also includes other games, by the way, which we'll talk about at the end. But many people have shared the same sentiment that I've shared, is that like, okay, that's great that Persona 5 Royale is coming PS4 Pro. It's awesome. I thought I was going to be buying it on there and everything, but I'll be honest, it's very daunting for me at least to sit in front of my monitor here and play games for that long with a game like Persona, or sitting in front of my TV and play games. To be able to play Persona the way that I want to be able to play it, which would be anywhere that I want, and also would be like lying down in bed and other stuff like that, because of the type of game that it is, it makes it to where I don't feel like buying Persona 5 Royale on the PS4, because I already bought the game. I already bought the game on the PS4 in terms of the original Persona 5. I bought that game. I played it on my PS4 for about 40 hours before. I couldn't stand just sitting in front of the TV the whole time. And I actually bought an ice blue PS Vita and played remote play for the rest of the 50 hours or whatever it took for me to beat the game, just because I wanted to be able to play lying down. I wanted to be able to play anywhere that I want. But remote play for me is not that great. If you put the system in sleep, it desyncs. There are some other issues with remote play. It's not as intuitive as it would be on the Nintendo Switch. And on top of that, I don't really feel like turning on my PS4, then going and grabbing a separate device, turning on my Vita, then syncing it, and just doing all that stuff that it takes to get remote play going. I'd rather just have it all right there, right? And I think that the Nintendo Switch would give people so many more options in order to do that. Atlus has talked about this multiple times in terms of begging or asking for the game, right? And it's whatever on that. I'm not gonna go tag and tweet Atlus and do all this stuff like that. They know the deal. We've got a rating for Catherine, right? So we've got a rating for Catherine, so they know that people want this. They have their surveys. They know. They've been doing these surveys for a while now. They've been asking for this stuff for a while now, and they know that Switch owners want this. But this break-free Persona campaign is in part what Atlus wants. They want their game to be in the spotlight. They want Persona 5 Royal to sell more, and they want their game to be continuously talked about. Whether it's the PlayStation 4 version, whether they're saying, hey, we can keep up hope for a Switch version of the game. If Persona 5 is happening on the Nintendo Switch, it's already in development, or they're already talking about doing it at this point, and what they're doing here is just free publicity and free marketing for it. However, because of the people that are involved with this break-free Persona campaign, I am down to talk about it right here in this video, and I'm also down to support my boys Rogers Base and also Fidel as well, because they are passionate fans that are not doing anything wrong. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. Yes, I've talked about port begging, or whatever you want to call it, asking companies for games in the past, but I've also stated that people are free to kind of do what they want. Just because I'm not going to do something in terms of tagging and doing all this stuff doesn't mean I'm going to have to hate on other people that are doing that, especially when I consider it fellow fans, Joy-Con boys, friends, whatever the case is. So I think that it's cool that they have the passion built up for that. But I want to talk about, just briefly, the Persona campaign, the break-free Persona campaign. There are people who want other games to be coming over as well, because as you guys know, a lot of the previous games, Persona 1, 2, 3, and 4, are all exclusive to PlayStation, and people want to be able to play those anywhere that they want as well. People want to be able to play those on the Nintendo Switch and on modern systems. So this campaign is also kind of trying to nudge Atlus into saying, hey, you should bring over some of these old games as well. Now look guys, Atlus isn't super rich. People think that they just have as much money to do whatever they want. They're not a super huge company. Sega's not a super huge company anymore, and they don't have the money to port over everything all at this point, but I think that they've done a poor job when it comes to their older IP and getting stuff modern and made for the newer systems. And I think that they've made some missteps here and there when it comes to what they want to do with their games and everything. Heck, even like Persona 5 Royal, I mean, that game, if you've already purchased the game, you have to buy the game again just to play that extra Royal content, which is basically kind of obtuse for today's day. Usually you're able to just like buy an expansion like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torn of the Golden Country, or even like Fire Emblem 3 House of Cindered Shadows that adds, you know, however many hours of content to the base story of the game. But in this one, you got to buy it again. So even that's kind of obtuse, which they've done before in the past, but that was the past before DLC and expansions were a thing. The fact that that's not a thing with this, you know, that's not an option is kind of interesting, but there are quite a number of improvements to the base game as it is in terms of graphics and other stuff that they've added in order to enhance the experience. So for some people, it might be justified, but for me, I can't justify paying another $60 to play it on my PlayStation 4 when I've already bought the game. I already bought the game and played it on there, and yes, like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff, but I don't want to be tied down to a TV again, and I'm not doing remote play again, especially after the Switch came out. You know, I'm not going to do the whole remote play thing. So for me, it's one of those things to where if it comes out on Switch, that's great. I'd be more than happy to play it on there. But Persona 5 Royal, I guess I'm just going to have to opt for a Let's Play for it. Nothing comes from a Switch version coming at some point. So what do you guys think about this whole Break Free Persona campaign? What do you guys think about the videos you've seen so far? Are you guys going to be using this hashtag? Are you guys not going to be using it? What are your thoughts on all of this? What games from Atlus's past would you like to see on the Nintendo Switch or made in HD remakes or HD remasters for modern systems? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the link in the description below. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.